Heyo, it's Kitty Doe, and welcome to a Draw With Me video. You heard that right. I encourage you to grab a sketchbook, grab a hot cocoa or a coffee or a tea, sit down, relax, and sketch something with me. As you can see, I've already got my drawing already up, and it's words escape me. I am so sorry. It's already been drawn. It's in the process of being speed drawn in front of you, so that way, I'm drawing, you're drawing, yada yada da. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with words when it comes to live videos. You will have to pardon any weird noises that come out of my mouth in the process of trying to figure out words. Alright, I've rambled long enough. I think that you all have a sketchbook and a pencil right now, or your digital tablets. If not, seriously, just pause the video. I promise I'm not going anywhere. Grab a sketchbook, grab a pencil, grab your digital tablet, grab whatever you need, sit back, relax, and draw with me. After the process, feel free to send me a tweet of your drawing at KittyDoe. I would love to see your guys' final products. The speed drawing that's happening in front of you right now actually isn't my final product. I thought I would get into digital painting. It was my first time digital painting. I'm not a digital painter. I'm more of an illustrator. Yet the digital painting process did not go well. So I decided to scrap the whole thing, which you'll see in a bit. But I still felt that it was worthy to throw up here in the speed drawing, just to show you that, even people like me, we think we've got a great idea in our heads, and then we go ahead and we try to put it to paper, and we're like, oh no, that was not the best idea I've ever had. I would like to come back to digital painting sometime, maybe with a bit more experience under my belt. Alright. Now, we are going to be saying goodbye to this drawing in about 3, 2, 1, a half. Okay, so I'm not the best at countdowns live, but we're saying goodbye very soon. I'm watching my little timer thing go as this is all happening. It's right about here. I started drawing the land and I was like, no, thank you. There we go. Just scrap all that. I'm gonna be bringing in my thumbnail sketch, so for my drawing process when it comes to things like illustrations and the like, I try to draw 2 to 3 thumbnail sketches, and a thumbnail sketch is just the concept, the idea you want to go with for a drawing, because I find that just one thumbnail sketch doesn't tend to be enough. I need to get a few different angles, and maybe the first time I drew the sketch I had the perfect angle, but it's always good to double check those things, to sit there and take a moment and be like, okay, is this the best possible angle though for this drawing? Does it have the most dynamic, the most storytelling ability for a drawing? So I tend to go through 2 or 3 thumbnails just to make sure that I'm going with the best possible scene. Also, I hope you enjoy dragons, because that's what this picture is about. I mean, the dragon's dead, so I guess if you don't enjoy dragons, you can be happy that it's dead. So, it's the best of both worlds. If you enjoy dragons, hey, it's a dragon. If you don't enjoy dragons, hey, it's a dead dragon. This picture was inspired off of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My sister led it. I believe this place was called Draken Crag? Draken, not dragon. I got that confused. It was also in the jungle, but I drew it in the desert, so, up to artist interpretation. Anyways, as you can see, I'm much better with outlines than with painting. Probably because, I've been doing outline kind of illustrations from a young age. Outlining's just the way to go. Although I really do want to get into digital painting sometime. I think it's so beautiful, but this is definitely my comfort zone kind of drawing, with lots of outlining and lines to color inside of. I also had to look up a reference picture for this dragon. Now, obviously, I didn't look up dragon bones, but I looked up actually a pterodactyl anatomy, like their bone structure, because I figured pterodactyls are probably pretty similar to dragons. I mean, they both had wings, and that was about the entire thought process. They both have wings. Also, wanted to say that I'm very glad I looked up this reference photo. Otherwise, the dragon you see before you would lack a ribcage. But now, nobody will ever know that I didn't remember that most mammals have rib cages. I think all mammals have rib cages. But the point is that now nobody knows. Unless you're watching this video and have heard me confess to the fact that I totally forgot that animals have rib cages. Point is, artists forget your basics, and it's always good to have a reference photo. 10 out of 10, 5-star recommendation, coming from Kitty Doe. Always have a reference photo, else I might forget a ribcage. So I've taken a 2-second pause from my talking. How is your guys' sketches going? I'm asking knowing that you all can't respond because this is a pre-recorded video and in no way a live stream. At least if it was a live stream, I'd have a lot of questions as to how I draw so fast. I mean, I'd love to draw this fast. I think that's the weirdest thing about watching speed draws is whenever I watch them, I sit there and I'm like, oh man, I could bust something like this out so fast. And then whenever I sit down to draw something, I'm like, oh yeah, time. It doesn't move as fast as I'd like it to move. Total bummer, but the reality of the situation is always harsher than what we'd like it to be. Looking back at this drawing, I know there were a few things that I didn't like. I felt in the end the background was kind of bland. I could have added more. But to be honest, I was also kind of rushing at the end because I wanted to try and get this video out. So, reaching a middle ground in it all. It's a good drawing. There are always things when you're the artist, though, that you wish you could change. Oh, and this, just because whenever I watch something like this, I don't know why, but when I was first getting into digital, I was like, man, what's that green tool they're using? I'm not using a tool, I'm just coloring the entire thing in green, because green's an easy color to see against all the browns. And then after I finish basically selecting all of the dragon, I will proceed to start changing its color, but I just wanted to make sure that I had all the dragons selected, and green's an easy color to see. I'm sure, because I'm working in Photoshop, I am sure there is some easier way to select all the parts of the dragon I want to select. But you gotta understand, I'm a traditional artist. I don't digital media well. But digital media is the way I need to go if, I want to do stuff on YouTube. So, excuse the kind of struggling to digital media wellness that I do. I wish I knew the easier way to select, I don't. But, it sounds like the start of the drum rolls, da-da. Sorry, I get sidetracked easily. Oh my gosh, are we already halfway through the video? That's so crazy! You know what I've heard? I've heard halfway through videos is the perfect time to subscribe and ring the bell and other things. Just saying. Please subscribe. Okay, so sorry, I don't know what overcame me. The weird subscribe button overtook my mind and my body. I'd subscribe to myself, but I can't. So you have to do it for me, because that's the rules. Them's the rules. I don't make the rules. The rules are that if somebody can't subscribe to their channel, then somebody else must do it for them. At this point, I think I've just about finished up the dragon and am deciding against certain outlines, just because outlining the background I decided after while I was in the process of outlining the dragon, ended up not being the best. You know, typical artist things. Artist problems. I'll make a whole video on it. Including our non-commitment to most lines that we draw, where we sit there and we're like, is that a good line? Is that not a good line? What defines a good line? Is it the fact that the line exists? Or, like, is there a deeper meaning behind lines? Oh, I actually really liked doing this beach. I think the waves against the sand turned out just beautifully, and then the slight reflection of the red in the blue water, I also just fell in love with. But I'm just here to fall in love with my drawing, okay? Even if there are things that you want to change, I think it's important as an artist to sit there and say, you know what, but I like what I did. I hope none of you guys sit there and look at your sketches and say, oh, I hate it. Because there's so much to enjoy about a sketch and about an artwork, more than just the few things that you wish you could change. Look on the bright side of life. I also want to say, one of my favorite things about this piece is probably just the perspective of it. Like, at first you're sitting there and you're like, okay, yeah, it's a dragon, okay, it's crashed on this Badlands, like, scorched land area, but it's when I started finally getting the chance to draw all of the tiny little houses inside of it that it really gives the perspective of just how massive this dragon was. And the fact that, like, there's this whole city that's just existing inside of its mouth and its hands and inside of its rib cage that they've built all around, like a hermit crab finding a new shell. Chef's kiss. I really love perspective pieces. It also, like, creeps me out a little bit when I think about, like, how big certain things are, but, like, creeped out in a good way, like, good shivers, not bad shivers. Just a reminder of how itty-bitty we really are in the grand scheme of things. A healthy dose of humility. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out, like, how paler I need to make the background cliffside from the foreground cliffside, just because you'll find, generally, when you're going back in space, like physical space, not like outer space, things get paler. I don't know what you call that, like air pollution. It makes things paler the further back you go. And I didn't execute it super well, but I tried. 10 out of 10, I did try. Here we go. Now we're drawing the tiny peoples. Not even the people, it's just like some of the city blocks. The lights were by far and away, I think, what really made the piece pop. Just seeing all the tiny little hanging lights. I am strangely a fan of tiny things. I actually own a tiny collection. It fits inside of a small glass jar that I own. And it's like all the things that you would have inside of doll houses, like tiny little hair combs and other stuff. I'm just obsessed with the tiny things in life, like the tiny little lanterns that exist all throughout this dragon skull and hand and skeleton. And I kept a lot of the houses pretty basic. Nothing too special about them. Again, things that I would change if I went back and redid things. I'd probably try and give more depth to each of these items than what I did. Other tips for when you're drawing things like scenes, like what I was drawing. When you're really feeling like a scene's not working, if there's something that you'd want to change about it, and like it's too late, you've already laid down the groundworks, all of your sketches, you don't want to go back and like start from the bottom up. Although if you are starting from the bottom up, I always recommend perspective. Perspective 9 times out of 10 will bring your piece to life. You might be sitting there going like, oh, I really don't like this pose. Consider drawing the pose from like looking at an angle going up towards the character or looking down at the character or from the side. Perspective will change so much of a piece. But let's say that, you know, you've laid down all your groundwork, you're not going back and changing perspective now. My next big thing I would recommend on changing, weather. It doesn't seem like a big thing, but weather will bring a story to life. Like, let's say like you've just got this pose and it's okay, but you just wish there was something more to it. A storm's gonna make it seem much more dramatic, much more edgy, versus like winter. Like just winter has a weather, it's snowing. Will give a more cold and lonely feeling. You know, a really hot, humid day. Like, don't just push like, oh, there's a sun in there, but like, draw some lighting, draw some sweat on your character. Really emphasize, like, get some like little heat waves going in there to show like it's hot. Other than that, like, I realized that, like, just earlier in this piece I showed you, like, me entirely scrapping a piece, but don't give up on a piece. You know, sometimes it's the process of learning what works and what doesn't that'll really help you in future bits. So don't be like me, don't just destroy pieces that you don't like. See them through. Maybe you'll find something that you do enjoy about them. For me and the, permanently removed from life painting that I was trying to do digitally, the thing that I really liked was the line that was going down the center of those mountains. I felt like that was just some great detail in there. That I'm not normally much of a detail person if it's not done in the lining process, my coloring. That's probably why I'm not the best digital painter. My coloring is sometimes lacking. I love all my line work, and then I sit down and I color and I'm like, I'm still figuring out how to get a good color theme, which I think you'll notice throughout this piece. There's a lot of super saturated colors, and I just don't think there needed to be that many saturated colors than what I put in, because it can sometimes, all the different colors can distract from your main piece. So my biggest recommendation is choose a color palette. I'm just very bad at choosing a color palette. That's something that I'm still working on as an artist, choosing and sticking with a color palette. But otherwise, I think this is just about the end of the piece. I've added some aging to the thing. I'm trying to like kind of dim the lights a little, and that is my piece. Here's the thumbnail, the starting sketch, and we fade out into the final piece. And so this thing took me about 6 hours to do, just to put in some perspective for what is like a 20-minute video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I hope you were sketching during all of this, and please feel free to @ me with your pictures. I want to see them. And I will see you in the next video. Bye! Welcome to the end card. Before you go, this joke of the day was brought to you by Miso Apollo. Have you heard about the movie Constipated? No? That's fine. It hasn't come out yet. Alright, everybody, have a great day.